This one got rear-ended, and that one was simply pushed off the road. After all, nobody likes teachers on the road. This is especially true for truck drivers, who spend days behind the wheel putting up with brazen idiots. I've put together for you the most intense moments when tough truck drivers couldn't hold back and responded to provocation on the road, from wild ramming of passenger cars to full-on hunts for so-called teachers. And at the end, I'll show you what happens to those who decide to teach an excavator driver a lesson. I feel sorry for the guys. Solaris. This footage, recorded in Voronezh, shows a truck driver trying to get around a Hyundai Solaris that stopped in the left lane with its hazard lights on. Suddenly, the white sedan starts moving and then slams on the brakes right in front of the Gazelle. The truck driver makes another attempt to get around the obstacle, but the car changes lanes again and ends up in front of him. As a result, the truck collides with the sedan and drags it for several dozen meters down the road. Despite the sedan driver's desperate attempts to brake, the power of the speeding Gazelle was much greater. Fortunately, no one was injured in the incident. Moreover, the traffic police did not arrive at the scene of the accident, and the participants processed it using the European accident statement. The truck. In the city of Grodno, a road conflict occurred involving the drivers of a service minibus from the road maintenance department and a small truck. Interestingly, the victim in this road situation turned out to be a third car, whose driver was the one who published the video of the incident. Initially, all three vehicles were moving parallel to each other in different lanes. However, soon the lane in which the truck was driving began to end, and, as seen in the video, the truck started to move toward the road service minibus. In turn, the minibus shifted toward the video auto's car. The lane changes by the truck, and the minibus occurred near a pedestrian crossing. The minibus, trying to get ahead of the truck, decided to demonstratively cut in front of it, without using turn signals. After this maneuver, the truck driver took the initiative, making the next move in the development of this road conflict. Highway. An incident occurred on a country highway when the driver of a Hyundai crossover decided to bypass a traffic jam by driving on the shoulder. His attempt to return to the road was blocked by the truck driver, who decided not to let the violator through, wanting to teach him a lesson. In response, the motorist drove through the gas station premises and abruptly pulled out in front of the truck. This maneuver caused dissatisfaction among the other road users. As a result, the drivers worked together to surround the offender, effectively boxing in the crossover. After all, solidarity on the road has not been cancelled. Toyota. The driver of the black Toyota showed complete disregard for traffic rules when he decided to ignore the road narrowing and drove right over the safety island while merging from the left lane. Trying to cut into the flow ahead of the minivan and then in front of the truck, he provoked outrage among the other drivers. In response to threats and loud horn blasts from the truck driver, the decision was made not to yield and to keep driving straight ahead, thereby knocking off the fender of the brazen driver. Truck. This video was filmed from a teacher's car and shows a road conflict between the driver of a passenger car and the truck transporting goods for the Magnit supermarket chain. The driver of the passenger car was unhappy that the truck was moving too slowly in the left lane. The situation unfolds according to a familiar scenario. The motorist overtakes the truck and then starts braking sharply in front of it, clearly trying to provoke the truck driver. His attempts ultimately succeeded when the truck driver decided to overtake the car and, presumably on purpose, delivered a strong side hit to it. Audi. Unhappy about some prior incident that was not caught on camera, the Audi driver decided to take revenge on the truck driver by braking sharply in front of the truck. Apparently not taking into account the fact that large trucks cannot react instantly to such maneuvers, the car driver received a strong hit to the rear of his vehicle. After the collision, he did not stop immediately to handle the traffic accident, but kept driving, probably trying to process what had happened and decide what to do next. Opel Astra. The story does not reveal what exactly provoked the anger of the Opel Astra 2 owner against the two dump truck drivers who, according to the video's author, launched a real hunt for him and boxed his car in on the roadside, creating a sort of cage. Reportedly, the incident was triggered by the car driver's attempt to teach one of the trucks a lesson on the highway. Fortunately for the sedan driver, the situation was resolved relatively safely. He managed to evade the trap and escape from the scene. However, this incident likely became a serious lesson for the car driver, who will probably avoid such conflicts on the road in the future. Hyundai Elantra. For some reason, the owner of the Hyundai Elantra sedan decided to provoke the truck drivers by deliberately slowing down in front of their trucks. However, this didn't seem enough for the motorist, and he decided to anger the drivers even more by making an obscene gesture. This was the last straw for the truck drivers, who joined forces and surrounded the sedan, trapping it. Finding himself in a difficult situation, the sedan driver got into a verbal altercation with the truck drivers, which soon escalated into a physical confrontation. In the end, the truck drivers emerged victorious from the brief scuffle. Golf. From numerous videos, it becomes clear that the problem of road teachers' aggressive drivers who try to discipline other road users is relevant not only in one country, but in many European states as well. In one of these videos, a Volkswagen Golf driver is caught attempting to create a dangerous situation on the Autobahn, making risky maneuvers in front of a truck in hopes of testing the truck driver's patience. Such behavior could have led to a serious accident. However, thanks to the professionalism and skill of the truck driver, who managed to skillfully avoid the obstacle, a potential accident was averted. In the end, both vehicles continued on their way, going in different directions and avoiding a possible catastrophe. Cherepovets. This incident occurred several years ago on Shyolkovskoye Highway in Moscow. The driver of a mass truck from Cherepovets patiently tried for a long time to get around a swerving Kia Rio in front of him, which was behaving like a road teacher. However, at some point, the truck driver's patience apparently ran out. He decided to speed up, and as a result, the Kia Rio ended up under the wheels of the heavy truck, blocking the lane. The driver and passengers got out of the sedan, loudly expressing their dissatisfaction, gesticulating, and making phone calls. According to the mass driver's account, the police arrived at the scene of the accident about 20 minutes later. After the investigation, the Kia driver was found to be at fault for the incident. As for the damage, the mass truck sustained only minor harm in the form of a dented bumper and broken headlight mounts, while repairs for the Kia Rio cost more than 100,000 rubles. Unstable individual. In this case, the driver of the silver car was apparently not in a normal state, possibly even under the influence of alcohol. The situation resembled a scene from a horror movie. After overtaking the truck, the driver of the silver foreign car started driving in front of it, deliberately preventing the truck from passing. The truck driver was able to contact his colleagues, including the driver of the black SUV, to coordinate actions against the troublemaker. However, their attempt to stop the offender nearly ended in tragedy. Several people joined in the effort to catch the unstable driver, trying to corner him and block the road to prevent further violations. Unfortunately, the actual moment of the apprehension was not caught on camera, but one can hope that these actions led to a productive outcome and the offender was stopped. BMW. On one of the highways near St. Petersburg, a situation unfolded where the driver of a white BMW was displeased that a truck was occupying the left lane. Deciding to take matters into his own hands, the BMW driver overtook the truck and began to slow down in front of it, thereby creating dangerous conditions on the road. Getting caught up in this game with the truck, the car driver missed his turn toward the cottage settlement. In a final attempt to turn right, he lost control of the car and ended up crashing into the roadside barrier. Samara. And this is a video from Samara where an incident occurred on the road when the Mazda driver was displeased that the truck driver, with the dashcam being in his lane, was preventing him from making a left turn from the right lane. Because of this, the driver of the passenger car decided to teach the truck driver a lesson, believing his behavior on the road was inappropriate. USA. Indeed, there are cases when even truck drivers get involved in road conflicts, becoming teachers for their fellow drivers. For example, in the USA, there was an incident recorded where one truck driver decided to teach another a lesson by cutting him off on the road. SUV. On the highway, a truck driver in the left lane encountered an SUV that suddenly appeared in front of him. The SUV driver got out of the car to discuss the situation, but a honk from behind made him realize his mistake. As a result, the SUV driver learned a lesson from those around him for suddenly cutting into the lane and managed to avoid a collision with the truck. In the comments on social media, a discussion broke out about the rules for trucks driving in the left lane and how to assess what happened. And in my opinion, this really is a two-sided situation. BMW and Dump Truck. On the Kola Highway near St. Petersburg, the driver of an old BMW tried to teach a loaded dump truck a lesson. However, the lesson ended in failure for the car driver, who was forced to leave in order to repair the damaged rear bumper. The BMW driver, confused by the unexpected turn of events, stopped at first, but then decided to continue on his way. Gazelle. On the highway not far from the traffic police post, a Gazelle was driving within the speed limit. At that moment, a Kia Rio began to overtake it. As he approached the post, the Kia driver started to slow down because of an upcoming intersection that allowed for a left turn. The Gazelle in turn passed the Kia on the right and continued driving. A kilometer later, the Kia driver caught up with the Gazelle, overtook it, and that's when the real circus began. Trying to abruptly cut in front of the Gazelle and brake, the Kia driver accidentally clipped its left side marker. This caused the car to skid toward the shoulder where it flipped over twice. Ford. The Ford driver, who was driving along the shoulder, got angry at the truck driver who wouldn't let him back onto the road. In an attempt to get revenge, he started braking sharply in front of the truck, creating dangerous situations. Ultimately, after the Ford driver was struck several times with a crowbar, he chose to leave the scene. Hong Kong. This video from Hong Kong captures an incident that clearly demonstrates the consequences of aggressive behavior on the road. The driver of the black minivan decided to teach the taxi driver a lesson by stopping on the expressway and trying to cut him off. The taxi driver in turn moved to another lane to avoid a collision. However, The teacher did not take into account that a truck full of dirt was approaching from behind at high speed. The source of the dirt is not specified, but the truck driver had to brake sharply, causing the dirt to fly out of the bed and pour onto the passenger cars. As a result, the taxi ended up just getting dirty, while the minivan's rear window was shattered and a large amount of foul-smelling liquid got into the cabin. Red BMW. This is an incident involving a woman in a red BMW who cut off the dashcam driver who was behind the wheel of a truck without using her turn signal. After the truck driver made a remark, the driver of the BMW, apparently feeling offended, tried to get back at him, which led to an accident due to her less than stellar driving skills. However, the further development of the situation turned out to be unexpected. The male driver, apparently having run out of patience and self-control after briefly inspecting the damage to his vehicle, decided to leave the scene of the accident, not forgetting to hurl some unflattering words at the lady. Such an action could lead to additional problems for him, considering that he left the scene of the incident. Lada. The video shows that both cars are moving in the left lane. At the same time, the right lane remains clear. The Lada driver tries to signal the truck driver with their headlights, indicating that he should move to the right lane, but for unclear reasons, the truck remains in its lane. In response, the driver of the passenger car begins to slow down in front of the truck, creating an obstacle for it. However, these actions do not lead to the desired result for the car driver. Ultimately, the truck crashes into the rear bumper of the Lada, pushing it into the oncoming lane. Fortunately, there were no other cars in the oncoming lane at that moment. Excavator, well, as promised. The most intense part is saved for last. Two determined drivers got out of their car to confront the drivers of the dump truck and the excavator because they had blocked the road. The conversation didn't get off to a good start, and at that moment, the excavator operator decided to help his colleague using a rather unusual approach. All these videos that I showed you carry one simple message: stay human on the road. Don't think that you're smarter or faster than others. Follow the traffic rules and be polite. Thank you for watching.